No WWE superstar ever wants to admit they've got their limits, but when you've been getting hammered like a railroad spike...
Whoa! Wait a second, King! What the hell are you going on about?
Here it is! The sex drive! That's one of my favorite moves, JR!
Jerry, we're supposed to be introducing this podcast. What are you talking about?
The best superstars also finish off their opponents.
Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tapped Out to Pro Wrestling podcast. And now, here's your host, Bryce Van Pelt.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another KWA Fight Club. Tonight we are going to see Danny Vallow taking on Dabbing J. Rollins. No, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Tapped Out to Pro Wrestling podcast. I am, of course, your host, Bryce Van Pelt. And folks, today we're going to be checking out a pretty fun episode of Friday Night SmackDown. I remember this episode very vividly when I was a kid, mainly because I didn't really tune in much when I was a kid to Raw and SmackDown. I was too young at that time. I was a bit of a nerdy kid. I listened to my mom. I didn't really talk back to her much. But because of school, of course, I would have to go to sleep before Raw and SmackDown would even begin. So, yeah, I didn't really get to watch much. But this episode in particular, I did, in fact, get to watch. And I was really, really into it. And we're going to see if now, as an adult in 2025, if I am still really, really into it. I feel like the one segment that I'm really going to be into, of course, is the main part of the SmackDown, the Buckle Up, Teddy. If you guys don't know about that, we will get to it. It's very interesting. But folks, of course, we're going to have to start with our usual top 5 lists. You guys know we always do a top 5 list at the beginning of every podcast. This week, we have top 5 occupation wrestlers. What does that mean? These are wrestlers who had some sort of job with their gimmick. Let's get into it, okay? The very first man, number 5 on the top 5 occupation wrestlers who have jobs as well as wrestling. Number 5, Dr. Isaac Yankem, DDS. Yes, the dentist who would later become Kane. I put him in at number 5 because of how short-lived it was. But yeah, Kane at one point was a dentist. He would be Jerry Lawler's dentist when Jerry Lawler brought him in to feud with Bret Hart for a little bit. And then we didn't really see much of him afterward. But then, of course, a little bit while after that, Diesel and Razor Ramon would leave the company to go to WCW. And Dr. Isaac Yankem would become Fake Diesel. But yeah, we don't got to go into that. Number 4 is a guy who I recently uploaded on my YouTube Shorts page, is a figure that I have now in the collection. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Dusty Rhodes at number 4, because of course, if you guys do not know, he is in fact the Pizza Man. He is a plumber. He's done many occupations before getting into the WWF. They filmed a lot of vignettes where he was just doing jobs around his town because he is in fact a common man working hard with his hands. It really wasn't much of him having a set job, like one set job. He kind of had just multiple jobs within his town. So I guess that's what puts him at number 4, is that he didn't just have one job, he had multiple. And then at number 3, we have Duke the Dumpster Droese. Yes, Duke the Dumpster was a dumpster man. He would come out with a trash can. He took his job seriously, man. He brought his job to the ring with him. He stuck around for a little while, and honestly, he's probably the guy who stuck around the longest out of everybody on this list so far. And then at number 2, if you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, you better read the signs and respect the law and order, because you'll be serving hard times with the Big Boss Man. The Big Boss Man was, in fact, a police officer, a correctional officer who became a professional wrestler. And again, another man who took his job very seriously. At first, tagging up with the man known as Akeem. And then later, a man from the correctional facility coming over to the WWF, Nails, he had to get that man out of there. And he did, in fact. Well, I guess you could say Vince McMahon kind of got him out of there, but really the big boss man got him out of there. And it was for the good, obviously. The big boss man would serve justice, law and order, all the way up until, I believe it was like 99. But he did have a little bit of a run in the 2000s when he was doing like some stuff on Velocity. So I don't really know when you could say the end of Big Boss Man's run was. Honestly, probably all the way up till like his death. And then finally at number 1, okay, I'm not going to lie. I probably could have put Big Boss Man at number 1. This one's a bit of a joke between me and a few of my friends, but I just wanted to point this one out. Spark plug, Bob Holly. Of course, Bob Holly, the NASCAR racer turned WWF superstar. Yes. They filmed a bunch of vignettes where Bob Holly was on a racetrack race deal, just hanging out with all the racers, being a racer himself. Man, it's crazy to think that Bob Holly would become a race car driver, and then all the things he would later become. He would become Bodacious Bob, right? Bodacious Bob Holly or something like that. I could be wrong. When he was managed by Jim Cornette. And then, of course, the Job Squad. And then getting out of the Job Squad, he would just be Hardcore Holly, coming out with Crash Holly all the time. And then he just kept Hardcore Holly for like ever. But yeah, those are the top 5 occupational wrestlers. I guess that's the word you can use. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a real word. But with that, folks, we're not going to look at the internet this time. We're not going to go into anything crazy because this is kind of a bit of a long episode of SmackDown. I feel like this one's going to cover most of this episode. So we're just going to dive right into it. WWE Friday Night SmackDown. This is 2009. We go ahead and we kick off SmackDown with that old school 2000s intro. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, we promise you the best main event. Yes, sir, we promise you. If yes, yes, the world is watching. Burp, burp, boom. And then right after that opening, we get footage from Breaking Point the night before, where The Undertaker defeated the world champion CM Punk with the Hell's Gate, only to have Teddy Long come out afterwards and reverse the decision, giving Punk a second chance and the victory for his championship. Time to find out what happens next. Of course, yeah, Teddy Long came out and he was like, "Listen up, playa. I can't be having you using that Hell's Gate move. It's been banned and you know that." He didn't say it exactly like that. Oh my God, I sound terrible just saying all this. He's like, "Undertaker, you know that the Hell's Gate move is banned and you can't use it. So we're going to have to restart this match." And right when the match restarted, CM Punk was just right on top of Taker. And then of course, Punk got him in the Anaconda Vice. The referee went for the Montreal Screwjob. He just rang the bell. Oh my God, ring the bell, ding, 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 ding. Undertaker did not tap whatsoever. They ran out with the victory. And of course, Undertaker was furious. "I was double crossed. I can't believe this. I'm going to take their souls and dig their holes." Anyway, right after that, we see a limo pull up and out comes Teddy Long, all worried, followed by security into the building. He's making sure these security guards be super cautious as they make their way through this building. They're like stopping before they even move. Like Teddy Long gets out of the limo and he goes, hold on. Does he not see the sides of him as he's walking out of the limo? Is it just because he has too many security in front of him? I don't know. He's like, "Guys, stop. I'm going to need you to stop for a minute. We're going to have to take a look." Looking both ways before they cross the street. And then they go. I don't know. I didn't really understand that. I understand being cautious and being worried, but that's like on another level. I feel like Teddy Long was doing way too much. He was being extra here. We then get by far the worst SmackDown intro. My God, this thing was terrible. I thought the graphics... Wow. It's freezing outside. I thought the graphics weren't really special. They were kind of ugly going into it. And then like the poses everyone was doing just weren't really great. I don't know. Especially like the Hart Foundation at the end where Tyson Kidd's just punching in the air. And then that theme song, my God, is it trash. When I'm on the floor, you can't count me out. Oh, I can't even, it's terrible. One of the worst SmackDown intros of all time. They shouldn't have even aired it. But you know Vince McMahon was just sitting in gorilla position, just, my God, yes! Afterwards, Batista gets introduced to the ring with some words for the WWE Universe. You can tell he's slowly but surely becoming Hollywood Batista. Batista in 2011 would like transition into this heel Batista. And you could just see it here with Batista's look. He's got like the collared shirt. He's got the jeans on. I don't know. There's little bits of Hollywood Batista coming out here. I don't know why. There's something about the Hollywood side of characters that I love so much. Hollywood Rock, Hollywood Batista. I don't know. I guess Batista just left Raw to come back to SmackDown. He had a thing go on where Randy Orton had a match with him the night before on Monday Night Raw, or not the night before, the Monday before on Raw, where Batista at the end of it was like, listen, I'm going to SmackDown, bro. This doesn't even matter to me. He was given the choice and decided to stay on the show he's most comfortable. On his final Raw, he beat the heck out of Randy Orton for fun, like I was saying. He beat the living crap out of him. He buried him, man. Honestly, he buried Randy Orton in that match. What a way to push one of your Raw stars and I guess push a SmackDown star on Raw. I don't know. And then here's what Batista goes on to say. Well, as you know recently, my contract expired with Raw. And for the first time in my career, I got to choose where I wanted to be. No drafts, no trades, my choice. And I chose to be right here on SmackDown. And then everybody goes, yeah! They pipe in the blow dryer. Let me tell you something, dude. The blue team, the A show. That's right, I said it. I don't know why he felt so confident in that. Yeah, I said it, the A show. It's like he kind of like poked fun at the internet fans. I don't know. And it feels good to be back, and I cannot wait to get started. And then he patiently waits for Jericho to interrupt him. He's standing in the ring right after he says that, and he's literally just waiting for a few seconds. And then you hear the break the walls down, and then out comes Jericho. There's literally a Chris Jericho section in the front row of the crowd. They're singing his theme song. There's literally a dude just singing his theme song. Right after his theme song plays, they're like, welcome Jericho, just clapping and they're just going crazy for Jericho. I don't know, man. It's nuts to think that one section of the crowd was there for Jericho. Later on, we'll understand why. I didn't understand why yet, but later on, we will understand why. Once I explain more about this show. If you guys have looked it up already, you know, but yeah. So once Jericho gets in the ring, he goes on to say, it's so sweet, Batista. How heartwarming. You're back on SmackDown. Allow me to welcome you. Allow me to welcome you back on the show. Congratulations. And then he does like a little clap. Yeah. Babies are smiling. Birds are chirping. The sky is clear because Batista is back. You like the fact Batista is back, huh? Because the crowd goes crazy right after Jericho says that. Nah. Nah. Let me tell you what I think about you being back, Batista. I think that you make me sick. You're just like that injury-prone loser Edge, pandering to these pathetic parasites, begging for cheers from all these hypocrites, hoping for some kind of reward. Because You got injured and came back. And let me get something else through your Neanderthal thick skull. No matter what you may think, I am the true face of SmackDown, and everybody knows it. You see, a lot has changed since you've been gone. Because you've been gone a long time. And like I said, I am now the man of this show. And then Batista goes on to say, what I was always told was to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I know a lot has changed, but we're gonna have a chance to catch up. Because tonight, you've got a match against me. Then right after Batista says that, he gives Jericho a spine buster with Jericho in a suit. It's a gnarly looking spine buster. As Batista goes to the back to get ready for his match, we then see Jericho in the back just instantly right after this happens. It's like Batista's at the entrance ramp. Jericho is probably more than likely still in the ring. And then we see Jericho just instantly backstage. And then Jericho finds Big Show just backstage on his phone and he goes, where were you? What are you, on your phone? Where were you? The Big Show goes, what are you talking about, man? I'm right where you told me to be. And then Jericho says, did you see what do you mean where I told you? Did you see what just happened out there? And then Big Show says, don't you remember? You said you wanted to do this by yourself. And then Jericho just gets all heated all of a sudden. He goes, yeah, okay. Yeah, I said I was going to do this all by myself. You know what? I am going to do this by myself. We're the unified tag team champions. But don't forget, I was the first undisputed champion. And more importantly, the last time I faced Batista, I beat him for the world title. So I'm going to face him by myself tonight. You wait back here where you want to wait. And I'm going to show you why I'm the best in the world at what I do. Do you understand me, partner? Jericho, I don't know why he got so heated here. I get it. They're having this big dynamic. Oh my God, they're the team that's getting ready to break up. So they're feuding. But geez, man, he grills Big Show here. Big Show goes, oh, I got you. And Jericho goes, yeah, you got this. What does he mean by that? You got this. Big Show's just sitting backstage. He got nothing. And Show goes, relax. And Jericho just instantly says, yeah, relax. Oh. Well, we got a lot of talking on this show because right after that, we then also find out that later tonight, Scott Armstrong is going to explain the decision about breaking point last night in the match with Taker and CM Punk. Or no, breaking point wasn't last night. Oh my God, what am I saying? Last night. We then see that Dolph Ziggler has joined us on commentary for tonight's show with JR and Todd Gresham. What an interesting commentary duo. They weren't terrible. I won't say they're great. I won't say they're the best commentary team of all time, but they were tolerable. You know, you could deal with them on this show. John Morrison, the Intercontinental Champion, is getting set to take on Mike Knox, and that is why Dolph Ziggler is out here, because at Hell in a Cell, John Morrison will be taking on Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. After John Morrison makes his way to the ring, we get a little picture-in-picture promo of Mike Knox, and this is what he has to say to the world. Interesting promo here. Restless leg syndrome affects nearly 25 million people in our country. It's a neurological disease where the victim's legs will develop a crawling, aching sensation, which can only be relieved by the rapid movement of the lower extremities. John Morrison, they haven't found a cure yet. What's wrong with this dude? What? Morrison was somehow able to cinch in a headlock as we kick this thing off, but to no avail as Mike Knox gets some good shots in. We get a cool little breakdance sidekick after Knox throws John Morrison's leg to the ground. He kind of like tosses it down, and then Morrison like does a little breakdance and pop, kicks him in the head. He then jumps and sneaks through the ropes to get away from Mike Knox and catches him with a Pele kick. After Knox misses Morrison, he hits a beautiful Acai moonsault on Knox, which sends us all the way to commercial break. When we come back, Knox has John Morrison in a chin lock, even using the ring post during the commercial break. Dolph Ziggler says, "Looks like Morrison is going to have a bad back during our match. I'd really hate to take advantage of that." Instantly knowing that he's going to use that back. He's going to tear down that back. Knox gave Morrison a bicycle kick to the back of the head. It was pretty gnarly, I'm not going to lie. It was legit just a straight up like bro kick to the back of the head. Afterwards going for a big backbreaker, but he got caught with a tilt-a-whirl DDT, only giving John Morrison the 2 count. Ziggler again goes on to say, "I hope the Palace of Wisdom has a large ice machine for John Morrison's back when he gets back there." Morrison hits a knee off the ropes and a shooting star press, only giving him the 2. Afterwards, getting caught with a crossbody from Mike Knox. But after getting that crossbody, Morrison was able to come back with a springboard kick, setting up Knox perfectly for the Starship Pain, giving John Morrison the win. John Morrison afterwards grabbed the mic and he says to Dolph Ziggler down there at the commentary booth, "How you doing down there, Chief? Hope you had a good time playing footsie with Todd Gresham." Ziggler says, "What?" Morrison goes, "Whoa, hold on, settle down now, buddy." Because at this point, Dolph Ziggler just gets up out of his chair. "I know you're trying to make a name for yourself as Dolph Ziggler in our upcoming match. I got a feeling the only name the WWE Universe is going to be chanting is Mr. Ziggles." What? This is the most like PG era like trash thing you could possibly say. Mr. Ziggles? You couldn't have come up with anything possibly better? Mr. Ziggles. Okay. At this point, people really do start chanting Mr. Ziggles in the crowd as John Morrison leaves, to everyone unsynchronizedly chanting Mr. Ziggles at Dolph Ziggler. And Morrison says, one last time before he leaves, "See you at the pay-per-view, Mr. Ziggles." Then JR and Gresham discuss the controversy of how Breaking Point went down, specifically the Screwjob 2.0. Josh Matthews is backstage with Scott Armstrong. Josh Matthews says, "Scott, why did you do what you did last Sunday?" And Scott says, "You know, Josh, I've asked myself that question many times since Sunday. What was asked of me Sunday night was something that, after 30 years in this business, I've never been asked to do anything like that. But in this life, if you don't own a business, you have to answer to somebody who does owe a business." He does say owe a business. He doesn't say own. He says owe a business. "I answer to somebody that's much higher up to me than the position that I'm in. I'll just leave it at that. I've been around this 30 years. Got a wife and kids. I love them." All right. They're the reason for... I can't even say this. I can't even say this part. It's so random, bro. He had no reason saying this. He goes... He didn't have to say this. I can't even say it. Oh my gosh. They're the reason for my season, so to speak. Like, why did he have to say that? They're the reason for my season, so to speak. Who says that? Who just says that in conversation? They're the reason for my season, so to speak. I was asked to do something that I knew was wrong. Made me sick to my stomach before I got out there. Made me sick to my stomach while I was in the ring. Because I knew what was about to happen. Something I'm not proud of. But I make no excuses. I did what I had to do to keep my job. And then he walks off all somberly. I made that a lot quicker than it had to be. Because he like extends this thing really, really long. Like he really like extends this promo. I don't know why. We come back from commercial and yet again hear about our main event between Chris Jericho and Batista. And guess what? It's Divas time. Melina does her cool little split to the ring for this next contest as she takes on the women's champion with possibly the best theme song, You're Not Enough for Me. No, just another man is wait and see. Just another man, yay. Michelle McCool, by far the best theme song. Michelle McCool has a busted up knee going into this match. The bell rings and Michelle McCool does in fact pull out them heel tactics, backing up into the ropes to help her get the upper hand in the beginning of this one. But after a head scissors and a kick, McCool rushes to the outside where Melina chases her and gets caught back in the ring as Michelle McCool takes control. Michelle pulling out a dragon sleeper on Melina. Wonder who she learned that from. I couldn't possibly think of who. JR says, but for some reason, as she has this dragon sleeper in, JR just randomly goes, I'm going to have to show that to you later, Todd Gresham. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why all of a sudden JR had to confess his love for Todd Gresham there and decided that he wanted to show Todd Gresham a dragon sleeper in the back. I don't know. Something's up there. Can we ship JR and Todd Gresham? Jim Gresham? Michelle went for a basement dropkick, but Melina kind of found a way to hang herself up in the ropes. It was kind of sick. She kind of like grabbed the middle rope, pulled herself up a little bit and like hooked herself into it to escape the basement dropkick. But as Michelle was going for the basement dropkick, she kind of tweaked her knee a little bit, which is not good, especially in this case, because Melina clearly knows that knee is messed up, for sure. Melina hit a leaping senton off of the apron right after that to help her get back into this thing. She wraps McCool up in the ropes and does this supersonic scream, just literally so loud. Wah! I can't even do it. There's no way I could replicate it. It's obviously the scream that she would do when she would come out with like Eminem and they were losing and she would just scream at the top of her lungs. I don't know why she thought this was like a good baby face thing. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. But she followed up with some knees to the shoulder blades and then hitting that hair pull slam where they kind of like run at each other. She kind of like grabs her hair and then whips her to the ground. And then that only gets her a 2 count. When they get back to their feet, Melina goes for some Joshi forearms. But an Irish whip helped Michelle McCool get back into this thing. Melina was able to catch the women's champion with a code red for the 3 count though, which gave Melina a victory over the women's champion. That's not good. I guess, who knows, maybe Melina is going to be the next champion. I don't know why they would do this. Michelle McCool was so sick at this time. You're not enough for me. No, she was going to get so much better, obviously, because her 2010 run was coming up, and that thing's going to be fantastic. But, yeah, Melina gets the win here. Whatever, just simple Divas match. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy. Just quick, easy. We then see Teddy Long, who is yet again flanked by security and very much paranoid. And then all of a sudden, Mr. McMahon shows up and he goes, I'd like to have a little chat with Mr. Long, please. I can't even do like my Mr. McMahon voice anymore. Let me get a drink of water. Let me try this.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Vincent Kennedy, ah! I'd like to have a conversation with Mr. Long, please. So if you could please remove yourselves. And then as he says that, all the security just leave the room. What can I do for you, sir? That's Teddy Long there. Trying to do the voices as best as I can so you can depict who is who. Where's my picture? Last week you said you were going to have my picture in your office, and I don't see it. Well, sir, no. Last week you said you were going to give us a surprise that was going to change the face of SmackDown. And you've done that. Batista, the animal, back on SmackDown. That's magnificent. That's extraordinary. And last week, you also said that you're going to come up with something for Breaking Point. Wow, did you ever come up with something? But I've got to ask you, why? Why did you double-cross The Undertaker? Well, Mr. McMahon, you said, don't tell me what I said. I'll tell you what I said. I told you to entertain those people. That's what I said. That's all I said. But Mr. Entertain our WWE Universe. Don't interrupt me anymore. Yes, sir. Teddy Long is like a sad puppy, man. It's sad. Now then, I think you owe me an explanation for why you did what you did. And it better be the right answer. And it better be the right answer. He says it twice for some reason. I don't know why. You know what? More importantly, I think you owe the WWE Universe an answer. So, why don't you get out there? Go to the ring, Teddy. I'll be back here in your office, listening to what you have to say. Go tell them why you double-crossed The Undertaker. Now get! And by the way, why does he tell him to leave? And then, wait a second, come here. Leave, wait, but come back. I wouldn't want to be you. Do you have any idea on what The Undertaker is gonna do to you? Do you have any idea? I think I gotta go, sir. I think you better too. And then we go to a commercial break. So I guess Teddy Long is going to be coming out here to explain his actions from Breaking Point and why he helped CM Punk retain his WWE World Championship. Well, as we come back, WWE, did you know over 15 million people watch WWE every week in the United States? And last week, when we had one of these, I said, there's no way that's true. Well, this week, they have a source. The Nelson Media Research Group did in fact research this fact. So I cannot say that this is not true. I can't say it this week. Yet again, here comes Teddy Long making his way to the ring, flanked by security, constantly looking both ways before they cross the street, before starting to walk. Yet again, we see the Breaking Point controversy as Teddy Long makes his way to the ring. But I gotta reiterate it, man. This security team is just... Hold on real quick. Hold on. Okay, let's go. We're good. Hold. We're good. They are really like that cautious as they come out to the ring here. But after seeing the Breaking Point controversy, Teddy Long goes ahead and he says, first of all, I would like to personally welcome back the newest and biggest addition to the SmackDown roster, the Animal Batista. I came out here to make an admission. I admit that all of this was pre-planned. It was pre-planned to prevent The Undertaker from becoming the world heavyweight champion. I feel like I'm doing a very solid impersonation, but I also feel like that's bad. I don't know why. Now, I'm not going to stand out here and say that I'm proud of what I did, because I'm not. And I'm not going to stand out here and say that I'm not afraid of the Undertaker. He really does do that, though. He like stops, looks over his shoulder as he says the Undertaker's name. He's like, I hope I'm not like summoning him or nothing, you know. Because I am. And I know that he may show up sometime here tonight. And that's why I have surrounded myself with this security. Now, I know. Oh, wait, where am I here? Oh, now, listen. Let me remind you, I'm not the only one involved in this. There's the referee, Scott Armstrong. I don't know why he has to like pull everyone into this thing. He's like, I'm not taking full accountability for this. These guys have to as well. It can't just be me. And the current world heavyweight champion, CM Punk. And then everybody just boo. They hate CM Punk. Now, I know how I feel about this conspiracy. And I'd like to tell all of you the reason why I did what I did. You see, I've got a family to take care of. Times are tough. And I can't let my family down. I can't afford to let them see me standing in the unemployment line. What? And let's be honest, I'm just too old to learn something new. You gotta believe that was a Vince McMahon line. Vince McMahon was like, can we put in a little joke about him being old right there? Ha ha ha. Or he's probably like, Teddy, make sure you say something about you being old while you're out there, huh? Go out there, say you're old, pal. But I don't know, like, what is up with this whole conspiracy deal of like, we're going to lose our jobs if CM Punk does not retain his title? I don't understand that. Who is going to get fired if CM Punk did not retain that night? I don't know. Maybe I got to look more into the story to figure it out, but I don't know. So therefore, I would like to apologize for my actions. I would like to apologize to the WWE Universe. And I would like to apologize to each and every one of you. And I would especially like to apologize to The Undertaker. Yet again, looking over both shoulders. And one last thing. I hope that The Undertaker can find it in his heart. The Undertaker can find it in his heart to forgive me. And then right after that, Teddy awkwardly walks out in silence, still making sure that Undertaker is not there. It is so long that he walks to the back and he's just, gentlemen, I'm gonna need you to wait here. I don't see no Undertaker. I need you to wait. Like, I don't know why he's so cautious about the Undertaker. I get it, like you're that scared, but geez, man, at that point, just give up. If you're that worried, just stay home that week. Teddy's making his way to his limo with his security as he opens the door and tells the men in uniforms, thank you. And I guess all of a sudden their job is done. And my thought is they walk off. Then he hops into the limo where the coast is clear. Well, or so he thinks. Teddy says, okay, driver, I'm ready to go. Get me out of here. Driver, I'm ready to go. Get me out of here. And then the doors on the limo lock. The limo window rolls down, you know, the back limo window where it reveals the driver. And the limo window comes down, and it's a guy just sitting there at the steering wheel with a big black hat and a long black trench coat. And Teddy Long kind of like squinces a little bit to see who it is. But how do you not know with the gigantic 10-gallon cowboy hat? And then I got to point this out too. The Undertaker somehow got past all of this security to get into the limo. And not only that, had to drive into the building past that security in the limo. Or if he didn't even do that, had to walk up to the door in full Undertaker garb near that security. Like, there's no way he could have just swapped out with the driver when Teddy Long was just out in the ring. There's no way it could have been that fast. And even if it was, when they got to the limo, how did they not look in the front driver's seat and see that the Undertaker was just sitting there? The security line up all the way across the limo. How did they not see the Undertaker just sitting there? I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it, but I don't know. And then, of course, the Undertaker looks back and he says, "Buckle up, Teddy." Teddy has the most terrified look on his face as he goes, That was a terrible representation, but that's basically what he does. And purple LEDs just smack him right in the face. The whole limo goes purple. We hear the Undertaker gong, and the limo starts to fill with smoke as Teddy Long is just fighting for his life in this limo. And it just drives off with smoke coming out of the window. I'm sure a cop would have pulled them over and thought something was up there. But yeah. We then go to commercial and come back from commercial break with a recap of what we just saw. Guys, we just saw it. Do we really have to see it again? I understand, like, we could put it in there for people who are coming back, but if they've already missed it at this point, they might as well just stick around for the rest of the show to see it when you're going to show it again later. Because we know you're going to show it again later. But right after that recap, the World Heavyweight Champion, CM Punk, makes his way to the ring. And boy, does he ever have a lot to say. The first ever straight edge champion. I don't know how true that statement is. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I understand, like, yes, in 2009, there weren't a lot of men who were a world heavyweight champion that weren't either doing drugs or drinking some kind of alcohol. But I'm sure there had to have been one or two guys in the locker room who became a world champion that didn't do some kind of drug or alcohol. Like, I don't know. Do you think, like, Chris Candido was much of a drinker? You know, did you hear much stories about Chris Candido getting drunk? I don't know. Well, let's get into what Punk has to say. And folks, I gotta be honest, we're gonna be here a while. This is a really long promo. He says, "I told you so. Seems like I'm out here saying that a lot to you people, right? I know it seems like a lot, but the truth is, I said that I would beat Jeff Hardy. And I did. I told you so. I said that I would get rid of Jeff Hardy forever. And I did. I told you so. And then I said that I would make The Undertaker tap out to the Anaconda Vice. You laughed. But then I did just that. And contrary to what people may believe, I didn't come out here to brag about being the first and only man to make the Phenom The Undertaker tap out. I don't believe that's true either. I'm sure other people might have done that in the past. I don't know. I feel like this isn't the only time The Undertaker has tapped out to anything. But he didn't even tap out. Like, this is a controversy. So you're not the first person in the history books, technically, because that's how it went down, I guess, but you're not, though. But that's the heel tactics. I came out to confront The Undertaker. I came out to confront The Undertaker in my ring, or my yard, if you will. Oh my gosh. He really shot at him there. Oh my gosh. He's really taking it to him. I came out here to stick my World Heavyweight Championship in his face and look him in the eye and say to him, I told you so. Man, CM Punk getting cheeky. But of course, he's conveniently not here right now. Of course, right? When he leaves, all of a sudden you come out and start talking. Yep. So instead, I think I'll address all of you people. It's come to my attention that you people believe that I've been preaching to you. All right, we'll call a spade a spade. Truth is, yes, I have. Because you people need a good preaching to. You people need somebody you can look up to. You need a leader who isn't morally corrupt. You need somebody who isn't righteous, not self-righteous. What? I don't understand any of this. I'm sure nobody in the crowd gets this. He didn't have to go so deep with all these big words. I don't know. But I mean, this was the CM Punk way at this time. It was over, man. I don't know. And I know what you're all going to do next. You're going to do exactly what your hero, The Undertaker, did. You're going to give up. Well, by the looks of half of you, you already have. I mean, what kind of life is it that you live? What kind of existence do you have where you wake up in the morning and you have to pop a pill to crawl out of bed? And then you ravage your body with pitchers of beer. And that's supposed to somehow heal your broken self-worth. Man, CM Punk is really just drilling into us here. He was so good at this point, man. I know I was just talking about him using big words a second ago, but he really was a fantastic heel at this point. People really did hate this guy because, again, like he's saying here, he was not like everybody else. Everybody else likes to go out sometimes, party a little bit, take off the edge with a thing or two. But CM Punk was not that guy, and he would just rub it in your face. It's so cool. And then you just make excuses about inhaling poison into your lungs just to calm your nerves. And then, at the end of your sad, pathetic, and lonely day, you're in need of another pill to make you forget everything. You need a pill to help you sleep. Pulls the mic away. You make me sick. I don't know why he had to pull the mic away to say that, because the crowd is just booing him relentlessly. And I think even at one point they're giving chants out of boring, just boring, because he does go on for a while here. While I was typing this out, I was like, oh my God, he's just talking. He's just yapping. What's bro yapping about? You are all just a legion of inebriated zombies waiting in line at the pharmacy with your hand out, begging and pleading for the newest antidepressant that you think is going to help put an artificial smile on your face. You scratch and you claw for scapegoats like Jack Perry. Oh, I might have messed that one up there. Real class. You scratch and you claw for scapegoats on all of your inadequacies. And believe me, you have a lot of inadequacies. Why does he use big words like inadequacies? My God. And don't tell me that you don't self-medicate to forget about it all. Don't tell me that you don't have to medicate to hide from all of your inadequacies. Don't tell me you don't do it. Because if you do, then you're a liar too. All right, Dr. Seuss. You're lying to yourselves. You're lying to yourselves right now. About what? What am I lying about? I didn't even. You're not even letting us say anything, Punk. You're just talking. But it's mainly because people are just, again, relentlessly booing CM Punk. And he's saying them booing him is them lying to themselves. Them telling CM Punk that he sucks is them lying to themselves and not accepting CM Punk. But yeah. He goes on to say, you're lying to the person next to you. You go home and you lie to your family. And it's insulting because you're lying to me. And I can see through all you people and your lies. Because I'm not a liar. I am a man who means what he says and says what he means. And I'm an alpha male. Oh, not that promo. What I am is a prophet. I am the choice of a new generation. I am a champion that everyone can finally be proud of. I am the first and only straight edge world heavyweight champion in history. Again, I don't know if that's true. We're going to have to put that to the test one day. And if you're not straight edge like me, well, that just means I'm better than you. And then finally, he shuts up. And oh my God, thank God, because that was so long. Don't get me wrong, it was good. It was just so long. It was so long, Punk. You went on for a very long time. Like if that was spread out in between weeks, maybe I would have been all for it. But man, that was long. That was long. And as CM Punk is leaving, Jim Ross says, yet another sermon from the Second City Saint. I love when they call him the Second City Saint in WWE. It's so nice. I don't know why. Especially at this point, because it wasn't really often. We then yet again hear about, ladies and gentlemen, tonight our main event, the unified WWE Tag Team Champion Chris Jericho takes on the returning Batista. Yeah, we know. And also, apparently, we're getting a WrestleMania 23 rematch as Kane is going to be taking on the Great Khali. I guess they're having a little bit of a feud at this time, but we're going to get into that later on. Right now, we're going to kick it back to the ring with Cryme Tyme accompanied by Eve Torres. What a random pairing. Eve Torres is probably the most thrown off out of this whole group. She just does not fit with this. I don't know why they decided to put Eve Torres with Cryme Tyme, but okay. I don't know. To me, it just doesn't fit. But in a minute, we'll find out why she's with Cryme Tyme. But this match is brought to us by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Smash Up game. I've never personally played that. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know. I just randomly wanted to point that out. Their opponents tonight are the Hart Dynasty, Tyson Kidd, D.H. Smith, and Natalya. We start things off with the two hosses of this match, D.H. Smith and Shad. Commentary says, Shad is a tall glass of water, and JR says, he can eat a good brisket too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What does that mean? He can eat a good brisket too. You know, he's a tall glass of water, and man, could he eat a good brisket. What? In case you didn't know, because the WWE will not let us forget it and let this man just do his thing, D.H. Smith is, of course, the son of the British Bulldog. Could you imagine if Teddy Hart was originally in this team instead of Tyson Kidd? If this was Teddy Hart and D.H. Smith as the Hart Dynasty? I don't know, man. Things probably would have been pretty crazy with those two. Maybe they would have got over a little bit more. Tyson Kidd, listen, oh my God, I feel like that sounds terrible. It makes it sound like I'm crapping on Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd was a fantastic competitor, don't get me wrong. But Teddy Hart could do so many cool things. And I feel like with all those flips, I don't know, they probably just would have got over with the fans a little bit more than Tyson Kidd would have. I'm just saying it. I'm sorry. But Teddy Hart, of course, is one of the most controversial wrestlers of all time. Listen, whatever. Get him out of our wrestling. It's pretty much just a normal back and forth tag team match. Nothing really crazy, nothing special here. Just moving their story along, keeping this thing going. Natalya at one point does try getting in the ring as Eve does stop her. As that goes on, D.H. Smith connects with a big boot to the face of JTG. And right as he turns around, Tyson Kidd gives him that cool little like suplex neck breaker combo thing he does, where he like goes for a suplex, tosses you up in the air, but then spins it into a neck breaker. It's a really sick move. I don't know why more wrestlers don't use that often. It's a cool looking move. But yeah, with the referee being distracted from Natalya trying to get into the ring, obviously, like I said, D.H. Smith nailed JTG with that boot, helped them get the win. Again, nothing crazy, nothing special, just helping them move their story along. Obviously, that is going to get them upset, them being Cryme Tyme and keeping this thing going. And then I find out why the Hart Dynasty won this match. Because right when they win, the crowd goes a little bit nuts here. There's a little bit of a decent pop because we are, in fact, in Canada. And that's why there's a Chris Jericho section in the crowd. That's why the crowd's going crazy right now for the Hart Dynasty. And honestly, very much deserved. Really cool to see that the Canadian fans still love their Canadian bred talent, even when they are the bad guys. It's awesome. Afterwards, we see Melina walk into a dressing room covered in photos of Dolph Ziggler with what looks to be, I'm guessing, Michelle McCool in his arms. I don't know. That's kind of what it looked like. It's just like a bunch of pictures of those two being lovey-dovey. And Melina says, oh my God, Melina says, oh my God, Maria is gonna freak. She can't see this. And starts like trying to rip the pictures down off the wall. This part kind of confused me a little bit. Maria goes, Melina. And Melina goes, oh my God, Maria, I'm sorry. And then at this point, she's like holding one of the pictures, just like lost, like, oh my, and Maria goes, what is this? Melina says, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. I can't believe Dolph would do something like this. And Maria goes, and this is what confuses me. Dolph? I'm sure Dolph has a logical explanation for this. And you know what? If you thought something was going on, why don't you come to me? Why wouldn't you come to me, talk to me? Why wouldn't you go and do all of this? I really don't understand why she is framing Melina for putting these pictures up in the room. I guess because she was ripping them down, but I don't know. I mean, what are all of these pictures of? Are you trying to embarrass me? Melina says, no, not at all. I'm not. And Maria says, I thought we were friends. And Melina goes, what am I doing, bro? Melina goes, of course we are. We are friends. I'm trying to, you know I wouldn't hurt you or do something like this or hurt you or your feelings. And Maria goes, you know what? No. I'm done with this. I'm done with you. And Melina goes, Maria, no. I can't, bro. I can't. It's so bad. And then Maria walks off. It's really nothing special. I don't know. Whatever, man. Whatever. I guess they're feuding. They have a little bit of a feud going on, if you did not know, clearly, with all of what just happened. And then we hear yet again about our main event that's happening just moments away. Batista and Chris Jericho going one-on-one. But first, it's going to be the 7'3", 420-pound monster taking on the 7', 320-pound monster. It's the matchup that can end up on the Richter scale. The WrestleMania 23 rematch. The Great Khali and Kane. It's up next. We see what happened at Breaking Point the night before in John Cena and Randy Orton's I Quit match. John Cena is also set to face Randy Orton in a Hell in a Cell match. As we know, I believe it's John Cena that wins that match, right? I believe so. I don't remember much. I think so, though. As well as DX taking on the Legacy. And I remember how DX just completely buried Legacy at that time. I really thought Legacy was going to be something special, like a really special force within WWE. And then they went and did that. And I was kind of like, what the heck? But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Great Khali is set to take on Kane in their WrestleMania 23 rematch. I don't know why I keep pointing that out. I just like pointing it out. I don't know. But hopefully we don't see any See No Evil hooks in this one. Apparently, before this, these two had a Singapore Kane match. Kane's pyro also scared the heck out of me as a kid. Just had to point that out. Yeah, I guess they had a Singapore Kane match where the Great Khali just like destroyed a Singapore Kane on Kane. But yeah, this is a strange look for Kane. It's weird. He has his usual barbed wire tights with the one gloved look like he's always had. But for some reason, he's got like wrist tape over his wedding ring. I don't know why he randomly just decided to wear his wedding ring tonight, but I don't know. It's a different look for Kane. Not going to lie, I kind of dug it. But we're actually going to find out why very fast, as Kane is here for a good time, not a long time. Khali tried going for the vice grip very early on in this contest, but Kane was able to get out of the ring. When Khali followed him out of the ring in suit, Kane clobbered him with a chair to get a disqualification on himself. Again, just chugging these storylines along. Nothing really special going on here. He also then moves the steel steps and drags the gigantic frame of Khali across the floor. And man, is he having a lot of trouble doing it. And understandably so. The Great Khali is a big dude. He's dragging him and he puts his foot into the steps. He like moves the one step out of the way, puts his foot underneath. No, he moves the steps out of the way, puts his foot on top of the steps that are still there, and just destroys the Great Khali's ankle with these steps. But as he's doing this, there's a fan who literally tries to grab the steel steps out of Kane's hands. I don't know why anyone in their right mind would try to do that. Very dumb idea. Very, very dumb idea. But yeah, Kane just goes for it, just continuously smashing the Great Khali's ankle into these steps. And then right after, you can blatantly hear a fan shout out, "See no evil! You're better than evil! What are you doing? Great Khali! You're my father! You're my father!" The camera clearly picks all of this up. I don't get it. Kane just starts walking to the back, and then he stops and he looks at the screen and ponders his handiwork and starts laughing at it. Right after this, we get a commercial, and then we come back from commercial break as Charlie Haas is set to take on R-Truth, who is brand new to the WWE. I'm guessing, recently debuted before this, but we don't actually get R-Truth. For some reason, Drew McIntyre comes out here all dressed up in a fancy, like, blue collared shirt. And I don't know, for some reason, Drew McIntyre is out here instead of R-Truth. Drew McIntyre grabs the microphone and he says, I'm really bad at accents, so I'm sure I'm going to mess this up. Here we go. Drew McIntyre says, "Now it seems R-Truth was involved in an accident in the backstage area. And unfortunately, I was informed that he is unable to compete here tonight. So Charlie, as far as I'm concerned, that makes you the winner by forfeit. Congratulations." I feel like I sound more Irish. And then Drew McIntyre drops the mic and goes to extend his hand to give a handshake to Charlie Haas. And man, Charlie shakes his hand, goes to turn around. Drew McIntyre turns him around, kicks him in the gut, gives him the future shock DDT, but does not let go of his arms. He just has his arms clenched as he goes down for this DDT with Charlie Haas. And Charlie Haas's head just spikes into the mat. He had to have broken his neck there. It was just disgusting. It was a nasty looking DDT. I don't know like what made him think that he just had to keep his arms locked like that, but man, he 100% broke Charlie Haas's neck. Like, I don't know, man. Very unprofessional there by Drew McIntyre, especially just starting out in the company. You know, I hate to say it, no wonder your first run did not go so well. I don't know. This kind of shows it. Yeah, well, you know, I just... Poor Charlie Haas, man. Just right on the top of his head. Well, who cares? Up next, Batista is set to take on Chris Jericho in our main event. Yet again, as we come back from commercial break, we see the buckle up Teddy moment from before as we get to our gigantic main event. Here comes one half of the Unified Tag Team Champions, Chris Jericho. Keep in mind, the Big Show did say that he is going to stay in the back. He's not coming out. He's staying in the back for this one. Last time Chris Jericho fought Batista, he did in fact beat him for the World Heavyweight Championship. But here we freaking go. Here comes the animal, Batista. He's back on SmackDown, baby. Yeah. Everybody loves Batista, man. Dude, we are so close to Hollywood heel Batista. You could just taste it. I'm so ready for it, man. It's like, it's right there. It's right there. So, funny little fact, me and Batista have nose rings on opposite sides, so when we hold hands, they'll be facing each other. And man, can I just say, Batista is absolutely zoinked at this point. He is jacked to the gill. He is gigantic. I do not understand how a man can be that large. And Jericho, he is fantastic as well. He's hitting every mark. He is hitting every point. He is on top of things in this match. He is like, this is like good Jericho. We have not gotten into old man Jericho territory yet, and I love it here. Big Show is watching from a monitor in the back. I always love Jericho's little ad-libs in the middle of his matches that the camera's mics always seem to pick up. Whenever Jericho just has people in like submission moves and he's just, ask him! It's awesome. It's fun to watch. Or like, what's some other moments? There's one moment in this match where like he does something to Batista and he just kind of looks out in the crowd. He says something that I can't really understand, but the mic picks it up. Jericho gave Batista a very stiff slap to the back of the head. He like put his forearm into it and just right to the back of his head. But it made like no sound because he just hit him so hard in the back of the head. And then right after that, Batista sends Jericho off the ropes and nails a beautiful black hole slam. And that's the only way that I can call that move. I don't call it the boss man slam. I don't call it it's the black hole slam, baby. Abyss made that thing over. Jericho did in fact go for a lion salt, but he landed on his feet and then instantly got caught with one of Batista's spine busters. That was a really sick spot, I'm not going to lie. Batista then went for the Batista bomb, but Jericho was able to get back to that. Batista then went for the Batista bomb, but Jericho was able to get back into it, landing on his feet and getting Batista into the walls of Jericho. The crowd is really into this match. They are on fire at the point that Jericho has this Walls of Jericho in. They are losing their minds, just cheering like crazy because these guys are cooking, man. They are going in this match. They really had something going here. And then as they had something going, as they had the crowd right in the palm of their hand, Jericho went for the code breaker and Batista pops him up. Literally, Batista catches Jericho in midair as he goes for this code breaker. And he pops him up and gives him this Batista bomb. It was such a sick spot. It was so cool. What a beautiful way to end the match. He goes for the Batista bomb. 1, 2, 3. That's it. It's over. 1, 2, 3. And man, was that match sick. I think it ended right at the perfect point. It's an episode of SmackDown. You don't really need to go right after the climax. Just end it right where you have them in the pocket, right where you have them in the palm of your hand. Like, this was a perfect spot to end this match. I don't know. I thought it was a perfect way to end it. But yeah, we then see, after Batista's fantastic return to SmackDown, we see Big Show backstage still looking at the monitor as Josh Matthews walks up to him and he says, "Can I get your reaction to what you just saw?" Big Show says, "My reaction? Batista got lucky. Now if the animal..." Now he really does say it like this, like softly and quietly. "Chooses to get in the ring with me next week, the animal's luck is gonna run out." And then we see Batista celebrating in the ring to take us off the air. Man, what an episode of SmackDown. This was a fun one, guys. This was a really fun episode of SmackDown. I thought that the Teddy Long segment was really fun. I thought, honestly, the matches were pretty on point. They weren't terrible. All of them were pretty good. A lot of them were just, like, solid matches. Like, the women's match was okay. It wasn't terrible. They didn't have a lot of time, but it was okay. The main event was great. Great main event, I'm not going to lie. That was a fantastic, just great way to end a SmackDown, personally. The tag match wasn't terrible. It was just a solid, normal tag match. Yeah, like, this was a decent SmackDown show, I gotta say. Even though it ended in DQ, I don't know. I was kind of a little bit for the Kane and Khali match there, because they were just going at each other right when the bell rang, you know? So for this show, I'm giving it a little bit of a better grade than I did the main event. And this time, I gotta say, I don't think I'm going to change it while editing. 3.25 stars. 3.25. This was a really good show. I'm keeping it 3.25 stars. Really good show. Good stuff, WWE, I gotta say. And with that, wow. Yeah, what a fantastic episode of SmackDown. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, our segment to end the show, the segment that we always end these things off with, the wrestling figure of the week. And this week, I decided to dive into one of my many collections, because I have a lot of various mini collections inside of my collections, if that makes sense. I got these Vaders. I got the Rhodes, the Cody Rhodes up there. I got like multiple Macho Mans. I got multiple Bret Harts, multiple Hogans, and I have a lot of The Rock. And this Rock I decided to pick for this week's episode. Oh, I think I'm going to sneeze. Oh, nasty, bro. And the Rock that I decided to pick for this week's episode is this WrestleMania 40 Rock. Yes, the most recent WrestleMania 40 had a bunch of figures that came out, and this was one of them that came out in that set. And the reason I decided to choose this figure is because this Rock perfectly encapsulates when I was a fan of The Rock as a kid. When I was growing up, this was the Rock that I remember the most. The G.I. Joe Rock, the G.I. Joe movie just came out, and me and all my friends were talking about how The Rock was going to beat John Cena at WrestleMania 28, and we're like, oh my God, The Rock is just so cool. I don't know, man. This version of The Rock was so cool to me as a kid, and I just needed it in figure form. I don't know. And when this figure was announced and it came out, I knew I had to have it. It's just so cool. And then, of course, like, I don't know. This is where, for me, I end my Rock collection. Any figure up to this point, or any figure past this point, I'm not going to get. I mean, of course, Final Boss, because the Final Boss is epic. I'm going to get the Final Boss figures. But, like, this is where I end it. I don't get, like, that, like, what happens after this era? What other figures are made? Like, the random, like, one-off appearance figures, like, I don't get that. I'm not going to get those figures ever. Like, I don't know. I just need, like, right up to here, and I'm good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that does it. Second episode in the bag. Thank you all for joining me on this episode of the Tapped Out the Pro Wrestling podcast. We, in fact, checked out the Buckle Up, Teddy episode of SmackDown, and it was a lot of fun. It was a really good episode. I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button and go ahead and tap that subscribe button and tap that bell notification so you never miss an upload on this channel, because you don't want to at this point. These are so freaking good, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Bye. See you later. Smell you later. Suck it. Yo. I can't be telling my fans to suck it, dude. What the heck?